It's better than losing. Eddie Radosevich, George Stoia here from Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Oklahoma wins 31-24, and one more regular season left in the year. Coming up next Friday on Black Friday against TCU, George. It was an interesting game. Oklahoma wins 31-24. Jackson Arnold takes over, and I think that, there was a lot of people, including myself, as Jackson Arnold's running out onto the field because there really wasn't a whole lot of information even at halftime. I don't know about you guys up in the press box. We were completely blind of kind of what was going on. But as he's running out there in a 17-17 game, I think there was a lot of people that thought, oh, shit, here we go. But Oklahoma finds a way.
Yeah, no, and I think the thing is Dylan was playing so great in the first half that you were like, oh no, here comes.
And how were they tied at halftime?
And the defense was giving up big plays. We'll get to the defense in a second, but it sounds like it's a concussion. Brent said upper body. They said on the radio broadcast that it was a concussion. You saw him take a really hard hit at the goal line.
Second quarter,
Yep.
Second down, I believe,
Yep.
Down in the student section end zone here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. But I almost thought ankle as he got up.
Yeah.
And then, as we come to find out, it was a head injury.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, as far as his status next week, Brent said that he thinks he can get back pretty quickly. But when you talk about a concussion, usually the protocol for that is, 6-7 days. And they play on a short week on Friday. So we'll see. I thought Jackson Arnold came in and played fine. It was clear he was a little nervous, I think, to start.
Almost dropped the snap there.
Dropped the snap. I think it was the second play. But, he was also in a tough spot. It's raining. The crowd was incredible here today. I thought it was really loud.
Hey, people of Provo, you got a great product here. Hopefully Kalani Sataki gets it headed back in the right direction. I thought today's crowd, though, given the circumstances, given the struggles that they've had here over the last couple of weeks, when trying to go out, get bowl eligible, they're going to have to win their last two games, that kind of stuff. But I thought the atmosphere was incredible today.
I thought it might have been, other than OU Texas, maybe the loudest crowd they've played. Bedlam.
Maybe Cincinnati. I thought Cincinnati was really good, but you're right. Bedlam was really loud. And that kind of even inflates what Jackson Arnold was able to do. And then, let's just jump to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And Gavin Sawchuk was fantastic today. We'll get to him in a second. But the play of the game, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. Jackson Arnold checks out of a zero blitz, knows that it's coming. The headiness, the whatever you want to call it there, to be thrown into that situation, check out of that, make the throw to Jalil Farouk. It was something they weren't able to do in Lawrence and something they were able to do today.
And for them to have the trust in him to make that check, and they were going to throw the ball on that play anyways. I'm pretty positive that it was going to be a passing play anyways. And so for him to check it, though, and throw really a nice ball to Farouk, because he was well covered on that play. Farouk makes a nice catch. He was hurt on that play as well. But take away all the stuff from Jackson Arnold. He had some missed throws early on. He had the miss to Nick Anderson down the sideline late in the fourth quarter. I think it was the same drive. But to come up clutch in that position, I think says a lot about the guy. And remember, he didn't have a whole lot of preparation. Look, he's going to be a star at some point, but he wasn't the guy taking all the snaps this week. So I think that, if he is the starter going against TCU on Friday, he'll obviously be working a lot, throughout the week to get prepared.
And obviously today burns the red shirt. I know that was something that we kind of shit on during the week, but as we talked about on the I think on both Monday and Tuesday show, if something happened to Dylan Gabriel, it was going to be Jackson Arnold.
And sure enough, that's what happens. He comes out, and I had gotten a text right before the half, or right as the half was kind of concluding, and guys were coming like, "Hey, you should see if Dylan Gabriel comes out." And of course, he wasn't out there. He wasn't even out there in the second half at all on the just or anything. So
which I think kind of tells you it was a concussion.
Right.
The sun was kind of in and out today at times, so you just kind of wonder about the severity of it.
Yeah.
It was, and if you look at the replay that Bob Prisbillo tweeted out during the game, his back of his head definitely hits the turf.
He got tackled and then he hits the back of his head.
Sure.
So we'll see. Again, concussions are always interesting. I mean, Tyler Guyton missed the game last week. He was suited up today but didn't play.
I kind of wonder if that's more of You're going to be a first-round draft pick. Is there a whole lot to play? It kind of gets into an uncomfortable conversation. We'll see what happens coming up this weekend, getting back to Norman. Gavin Sawchuk with another really good day today.
Awesome.
Jaden Gibson flashed at times, made a couple big catches. Obviously, the second series, the one that they ended up going up 7-0, and then the touchdown throw in the second quarter.
Yeah, they've got a lot of playmakers on offense. I thought the offense was actually really good today. You take away, I mean, if Dylan's in the game in the second half, I think they probably would have run away with the game because they had some chances. The defense got some more stops in the second half, obviously came up with a couple turnovers, and OU took advantage of it. But, I think that Jaden Gibson is going to be a star. He looked really good today. Gavin Sawchuk is the number one running back. I mean, he is their guy. I thought his touchdown run to take the lead was a nice run.
What is different about it? He's breaking a lot of tackles at the line of scrimmage.
He's healthy.
And I think he's just more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like he's getting into the flow of the offense.
A lot of what OU does schematically in the run game, it takes some time to develop. I think he's starting to be more patient. He's seeing it unfold and then exploding, through the hole. And then I think he really is just healthier. You're seeing him make some cuts, make guys miss. He wasn't doing that earlier in the season. You could tell he was maybe not 100%. So I think he's been really good. And if they can get that running game going, look out, because I do think that they're able to throw the ball around the yard with just about anybody.
Let's talk about let's start shifting this over into the defense performance. I think that let's start with a positive. You forced 3 turnovers today, and on the opposite side of that, offensively, you had 0 turnovers. That might have been the biggest stat of the game. Oklahoma obviously took advantage of the turnovers today. Some big plays when you needed it the most. Billy Bowman, obviously, kind of the signature play for Oklahoma defensively today.
Massive play. I mean,
I don't know if they win the game if BYU scores, because then you're down by 7, and the complexity of the game just completely changes.
Right, and it was kind of an odd play call for them because they had just gashed OU in the run game. They're on the 2-yard line. You'd think they'd run the ball. And they throw it, and Billy makes a great play, reads it well, and then houses it. Looked like he got a little gas there at the end, but great play. Stutzman coming up with the strip sack was massive. Again, that BYU had been moving the ball. They were running the ball. Stutzman comes up with the big play, which sounds like Danny wasn't even supposed to play today. He's been dealing with the flu all week. I think his dad put out food poisoning.
Food poisoning is what it was.
Yeah, so he was on an IV. He comes and plays. And maybe that explains. I don't want to give excuses to the defense because it was definitely one of their worst performances in terms of tackling, filling gaps. I mean, BYU came into the game today worst in the conference in rushing. They'd only rushed for 900 yards in 10 games this year. They rushed for 200-something yards today. So it was really bad. But maybe, an excuse is Danny wasn't feeling well. Kip Lewis didn't have his best game. He ends up getting benched. Kobe McKenzie came in and played a lot in the second half. I thought the safety play wasn't great in the run game. The defensive line got pushed around at times. But look, they at the end
how the hell did they win this game?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There was a lot of moments where I'm like, this feels exactly like Kansas, where Kansas was able to run the ball at will. BYU was doing the same stuff. Honestly, it came down to BYU couldn't get out of their own way. They had some big turnovers. And then I think that OU got the run game going. And then Jackson Arnold. And that was the big difference. What happens if Jackson Arnold doesn't check to that play and they don't pick up that first down? It's the exact same situation as Kansas. You're punting the ball and making BYU go the length of the field, but we saw Kansas do it earlier this year on them. So to pick up that first down, that was really the difference between the Kansas game and this game.
Well, and you're probably not trying to kick a field goal because that's another I don't want to use colorful language, okay? I'm not going to use colorful language. I think that you guys that have watched this show, that listen to the Unofficial 40, listen to the Exridge Lexus post-game show tonight, it's not good. I don't know how they keep running him out there, him being Zach Schmidt, misses a 27-yard field goal to give Oklahoma a 2-possession lead.
How about the kick out of bounds, too, on the kickoff?
You can't do it. I'll make an excuse for him. I think he slipped. People were slipping all over the field today. But, again, that just kind of compounds the effing problems that they have in special teams.
I don't know what's going on with special teams. I mean, Gavin Freeman, again, call a fair catch, man. But the Schmidt situation, at what point do you have to make a change? I mean, how many misses does it take?
Like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. And this one wasn't a 40-yarder. I mean, this was a 28-yard chip shot. That really, you look at it, it could have ended up sealing the game because the next possession was the one that OU gets the strip sack. So the defense bails them out, and they go and score a touchdown. But it just can't happen. I don't know. We didn't even ask Brent. after the game about it because he was pretty quick in and out of there.
And because it's nonsensical.
Right.
Like, make a change at kicker. I don't care who.
Yeah.
Like, you already know what you're getting out of that, which is nothing. You might as well change it.
Either make a change or start going for it on 4th down. And the way the offense has been moving the ball, I'm going for it and just throwing it to Drake Stoops. That's a better option at this point than kicking the ball. So, I don't know. They got to clean that shit up, though. That's stuff that will cost you a game. It should have cost them today, and it didn't. They got lucky. They got bailed out. But look, hey, a win is a win is a win is a win. And that's all I'm going to say. I know people are going to bitch and complain about it. Was it sloppy? Yeah. But look, on the road, rainy conditions. Yeah. It's a rowdy crowd. You lose your first-string quarterback. Guys are fighting sickness. You got a couple guys banged up. I mean, I think Gentry Williams being out has really hurt this team in the secondary at times.
And Kenai Walker had looked like a groin injury in the fourth quarter late.
Vickers didn't make the trip, so they were thin at corner. So it's tough sledding. So you take any win you can get. And now, Eddie, look, this team has a chance to win 10 games. We'll see what happens in these games later today. I think OSU's actually losing to Houston right now. We'll see what happens in that game. You got the big one tonight, Texas and Iowa State. You could still sneak in. So you take a win. Look, it's not been pretty on the road. I don't know what the issues are this year on the road, but you take it and you move on.
I know that people don't want to hear this, but it's almost like you just take baby steps.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, and even think about this, Eddie, and I thought Brent hit on it in the post game. They learned from their prior mistakes in that Kansas game. They're in the exact same situation. 2 minutes to go. You're facing a 3rd and long. You trust your quarterback to go make a play. He does. You get the first down. You win the game. That's growth. As much as it sucked today and they didn't look great at times and honestly probably should have lost, that moment right there tells me this program has taken a step in the right direction in terms of growth and learning from prior mistakes. Now, they also are still doing some of the same dumb shit that they've been doing.
Penalties, like false start stuff. How many of those penalties, and I would have to go back up and look, how many were on freshmen today? It seemed like quite a few were on freshmen.
Caden Green, Jacob Sexton had a couple pre-snap penalties. Those things can't happen, but, again, those things, it's, you got a young guy out there, they're going to make mistakes, but, again, I think OU walks out of here. I know OU fans aren't happy. It was a 24-point spread or whatever. OU doesn't cover, obviously, but you take a win on the road and you move on to the next one, which is a big one. TCU, they're up and down. They're a good football team. They'll come in and beat you. You play like this today.
No doubt about it. Oklahoma improves to 9-2 on the season with a 31-24 victory here in Provo. We'll be back on Monday, catching up with Josh McQuestion. And then this evening, we'll be talking to Kerry Murdoch here shortly for the Eskridge Lexus postgame show. It's been a great trip. Had a lot of fun. Thank you to Provo. Thank you to the fine people of BYU. They put on a really good game day atmosphere. I thought it was a really fun experience that we'll probably never see again. So for George Stoia, I'm Eddie Radosevich. This has been your Soonerscoop.com instant reaction from BYU.